Hello, everyone. It is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach. We are here to talk about this new moon in Capricorn. I cannot lie to you. I am very excited. Maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, but I'm very excited about the energy that we are going to be experiencing in the next few weeks. And it kicked off with Jupiter going direct and Mercury going direct at the end and beginning of 2023 and 2024. But after this new moon, which remember, new moons are new, it's setting intentions, it's, creating a new, it's kind of like a rebirth every 28 to 30 days, right? So we've got this Capricorn new moon. Capricorn is Saturnian, it is its ruler. And so it's kind of the longevity of the zodiac, right? Like Capricorn is usually associated with long-term goals, long-term achievements and things like that. So but after this new moon, we are going to get a lot of potent energy. About 9-10 days later, we're going to get like a lot of potent energy. And I know a lot of people are kind of fearful of what's coming, but let me just say there's absolutely no reason to be scared. What I would say is if you are experiencing fear or experiencing anxiety-ish type things, first of all, disclaimer, I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm an astrologer and a leadership coach. But if you are experiencing fear associated with whatever astrologers are saying about what's coming, is do some self-discovery, do some, self-meditation, some self, really checking in with yourself, do some journaling, loads of journaling. To really work through, do some meditation, spend some time in quiet. There is lots of information being revealed as Pluto inches closer and closer to its ingress into Aquarius on the 20th. And so just be super gentle with yourself, because this is a lot of information and a lot of it may be new to you or new to people around you, depending on where you are with your, exploration of the awarenesses of the world. I feel like there is a little bit of like that caught between two worlds type of energy right now, because we've got people who've known a lot of things for a long time and people that are just now learning it. And that could be for any pieces of information, right? Maybe you've known for the longest time that the healthcare system is a whack job and a half, but others are just now figuring that out. And there's nothing wrong here, right? We all have to learn at our own pace. And I am just using healthcare as an example. It could be anything. And I am not just talking about the last 3 years of healthcare. I am talking about healthcare for decades. Okay. And maybe you knew that the financial system was going to reach its point of being no longer sustainable. Maybe you've known that for decades and others are just now figuring it out, right? Sometimes we have to, unfortunately, shut our mouth and let others figure it out, right? Was something that I wasn't always good at when I was younger. Still not sometimes, but I try. And so that's kind of why I don't talk a lot of geopolitical or system structures type things, because there is a lot of things that I have been well aware of for many, many years. And it's not my place to, I want you to be aware of the world around you, but really I'm just here to talk about the astrology and what you individually can do to support yourself through whatever is coming up and out and in your face, right? We all have to learn at our own pace. And I'm sure if people who watch my videos have known me for 20, 30 years, they're like, who the fuck is she? Right? Because I used to shove it in people's faces about being vegan or being, whatever it was I was up to in this life, right? I'm in my mid 40s and I have been through a lot of different changes throughout. I was vegan at one point. I was hardcore Catholic at one point, all of these things. And I've reached a point here in my mid 40s that I don't try and shove it at people anymore. And it's something that I still work on professionally, because it's something that I just want to be like, can you just stop being a victim? but it's not my place. People have to come to that realization on their own. And I could tell you stories about being in my coach's training program and my fellow coaches saying those things to me and me being like, what are you talking about? I'm not a victim. I was so victim. I didn't know how victim I was. So, anywho, let's get into this before I keep rambling about everything in the world. Okay. So, there we go. Okay. I'm going to try a couple different things throughout this video because I changed some stuff up. And so I'm going to try some stuff. We'll see if it works. And if not, then you can say I tried something new on a new moon, right? Okay, cool. So, of course, this is happening on January 11th. So for all you 111 people, this is your new moon. I do think there is something symbolic about it happening on January 11th. I'm just not sure I'm into the whole 1111. Those things are good. It's good to see repeated numbers. I'm more of a chronological or palindrome number type person. So yeah, I'm definitely more of a palindrome person. The same thing backwards as forwards is definitely more my vibe than the repeated numbers. But that doesn't discount them. Everybody does their thing. Everybody vibes to their own vibe. Okay, so overview. So this we're jumping into some pretty heavy Capricorn energy. And so I feel like there's a lot of different stuff to talk about here. And definitely, oh, let's see. Let me start at the top of the slide. And okay, acknowledging that you're wounded, acknowledging that you have wounds, but using those wounds to kind of write your story, right? Knowing that you're wounded, but you're still lovable, you're still, a unique individual, right? The whole premise of my work with Divinely You, which is the name of my business, is that you are a unique individual. You're, here for in this time and space for a unique purpose. And so knowing that you're a unique being that is wounded, that is flawed, that deserves and can be accepted for who you are, for your, whatever faults and flaws you come with, but that you have gifts and talents to offer your community, the world, your friends, whomever. Right. So I feel like that's a huge energetic part of this new moon and what we are moving into in the coming stretch of time. And if you aren't in that space, I mean, self-discovery, learning yourself thoroughly, learning the good, the bad, the ugly. Part of self-acceptance is not toxic positivity, as in thinking everything about you is amazing. Yeah, everything about you is amazing, but you still have to confront your shadows. You still have to confront, if you're somebody who wants to shift from a scarcity to an abundance mindset, you have to confront your shadow or the dark side of you that feels in scarcity mode. It's like I was just saying with being a victim, like you have to acknowledge that you're a victim. You have to acknowledge that you shame and blame, and whatever. Like I'm not criticizing any of these parts of us, but I'm saying that in order to really accept yourself, you have to understand and acknowledge that you have these mindsets, or you have these emotions, or you have these states of being or states of mind. So self-discovery is one of the biggest ways of dealing with all of the everything of 2024, is just really knowing yourself and being strong, sturdy, and solid within yourself, and having that connection to spirit, of course. Because confusion is going to be like I was just saying, like we're caught between two worlds. We're caught between the conditioned world where we are meant to follow rules, follow laws, and all of the things. And I'm not saying go break laws. Don't read into this. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of us who no longer want to work 9 to 5. There's a lot of us who no longer want to try and be, mom, and working full time and not making any homemade food for our kids and all of these things. I'm just using the mom example, but maybe you are also somebody who's just like, you know what, I'm sick of being overworked, feeling like shit, hating my life just to get a paycheck. Or maybe you are sick of dealing with obligatory, events or incidents that you have to do. We talk about it a lot with regard to holidays and the obligatory, I have to hang out with my family. I felt that way for years, and I will tell you that a lot of healing work has gone into me being able to embrace the holidays with my family. I still don't think that the holidays are worth shit, but I think it's just an opportunity to eat too much food, get drunk, and be stupid. But I digress. But there is something significant about being healed, being in a healed space where you can embrace times with your family, knowing that there may be times when you may not see your family again. And I'm not a relationships expert by any stretch. And I get that there's a lot of people who have effed up relationships with their parents, with their extended families. And but all I'm saying is if you can be civil with your family, if you are in a place where you can be civil with your family, then, take advantage of those times. Okay. But yes, we're kind of caught between so this can be confusing because how do you choose, right? Like I need a job in order to pay the bills, but I hate working this job and I really want to do something else. And so my thought is side hustles or, just having the right support people. And this is where a lot of breakups could occur. Even long time relationships could fall apart because husband decides he's going to pursue, auto repair after all these years of climbing the ladder in his corporate company. And wife's like, no, I'm not going to support that. Right? Could be as simple as that. It could be even deeper than that. Like maybe people's finances fall apart. Like who knows, right? There's so many unknowns in this situation. But my point is that people are tired of living conditioned lives and want to start living a life of, much more fulfillment. And so we all are kind of stuck in this confused state of, wait, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Okay, rapidly disruptive and overwhelming amounts of change. Okay. This is because the week of January 20th, which is 10 days after this new moon peaks, that week of January 20th is when, Pluto moves into Aquarius, the sun moves into Aquarius, we have a full moon in Leo, and Uranus goes direct. Holy what? And then the domino effect of all of the personal planets conjuncting Pluto at 0 Aquarius. I'm spouting out a lot of astrology. I mean, that's what I do. But for those of you who are like, what does that even mean? Pluto is death and destruction. It is death and rebirth. It is transformation. Okay. So when we've got this much activity happening, and Aquarius is authenticity, Aquarius is humanity. And then we have a South Node in Libra, which is justice. So, it's going to be a lot of whoa, what the, huh? Type of stuff, right? It may already be for you. Like, I don't know, because but it could already be for you. You could already be in that space of, be adaptable, be open, find some way to trust yourself, to trust God, to trust spirit, that you are being led to a higher, better, different way of being. Okay. These transformations we're about to step into have been happening for probably 10 years. We're starting to feel it now here in the mid 2020s decade. Okay. So it's okay, but it's going to be confusing. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to be a lot of what the actual, oh my God, type of energy, right? There's kind of no way around it. Like when you go through a transformation, like this is just part of the thing, but we're going through it on such a grand scale. Okay, see my video for practical tools to use for 2024. I will link it below. But I talked about some crystals you can use, some oils you can use, and I'm trying to add more practical stuff into the Moon Astrology Tarot, my daily horoscope videos to support you through all of this. And but as I said in that video, the practical tools video, none of this works if you're not doing, working with a support specialist, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's a psychotherapist, a leadership, a coach, a spiritual guide, a spiritual mentor, however that shows up for you, but you really got to work on the mindset part of it in order to, you know, I mean, the tools work and the tools are effective, but anybody can say like, well, I tried using lemon oil, but it smelled terrible and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, then try wild orange or try another, you know, citrusy scent that you like. But if a person doesn't want lemon oil to work, they're going to come up with every reason why it doesn't work, right? Okay, that's kind of what I'm saying is like you can use the tools, but if you really don't want the tools to work, they're not going to work. Okay, so you got to want these things to change. Okay, so where are we here? Oh, I thought I took the Jupiter part out. I didn't. Shit. Oops. Okay. Did I change the rest of it? Mercury in Capricorn. I didn't take the first line out. I didn't mean that. Jupiter's direct, Chiron's direct, Uranus is still retrograde. Man, I never failed. I always mess something up, miss a detail on these slides. Okay. Mercury in Capricorn, the 13th through February 5th. Mars is exalted, it's happy, it's loving it, it's living life from January 4th through February 13th. This is what I'm talking about right here, is take advantage of this Mars and Capricorn energy, get shit done, tackle the projects, get shit done, write the step by step, do your business plan, like not necessarily a business plan if that's not what you're going for, but if you're like working on a project, like now's the time to like grind that shit out and get it all together and really use this Mars in Capricorn. Know where Capricorn is in your chart. What is it talking about, right? Is it in your fourth house where you're really dealing with a lot of things around your home? Is it in your sixth house? So you're really thinking about your health and your well-being and your daily routines. And do I really want to keep this stupid job and I can't even, you know, find time to go to the gym or cook my food or, you know, whatever, things like that. Is it in your 10th house, Capricorn in the 10th house? Maybe that's what it's about. And so therefore you're thinking about your career and advancement in your career. And so right now it's like the time to really grind through this Mars in Capricorn energy. Venus is in Sagittarius until the 23rd. And so we're out of that, all of the planets in Scorpio time frame. But so Venus and Sag, it's a little happier. It did have that square to Saturn, but it's feeling better now. It's feeling better now. But now it will make aspects to Chiron and the North Node as it's moving through, but it's still in, you know, a happier place than in Scorpio. Okay, I talked about this on the Sagittarius, the Cancer full moon on the 20th. The sun conjuncts Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. The sun will ingress into Aquarius, and then Pluto will ingress into Aquarius, and they'll both be within a degree of each other at 0 degrees Aquarius. So we want to think about, you know, physical awarenesses and things like that, like as in your physical body awarenesses. I gave you some teaser terms so that I don't want to go deep into this because we're talking about a Capricorn new moon. But I wanted to give you some teaser terms so that you'll come back and hear me talk about Pluto and Aquarius because I'm excited about it. Okay. I'm such an Aquarius. I'm like, let's just disrupt the fuck out of the world. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I do mean that like things could be so much better in this world, in my opinion. Okay, February 5th, Mercury conjuncts Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. You may feel like your communication or your mindset are just really sharp. You really have something to say. You need to get it out and say the damn thing. And Mercury conjunct Pluto could bring that on. That could actually be a day of like a protest or a revolt of some sort on the global scale. I don't know, maybe. 213, the day before Valentine's Day, Mars conjuncts Pluto, 0 degrees Capricorn, power struggles, and let's see, strategic planning. So this is again where people's, you know, relationships could really fall apart because you know, again, husband's not on board with wife's mission, or vice versa. Wife isn't on board with husband's mission. And this could also be breakups with your job, with friends. You know, if your friends are just like completely clueless about what you're up to and don't even pay attention to what you're doing, like, you know, maybe it's just time to, okay, just ignore them. And move on. Strategic planning, like I said, getting that game plan together, potentially that business plan, or at least, you know, the project plan. Maybe project is a better word than business. Business plans are really daunting. And then, of course, on the 17th of February, Venus will make the conjunction to Pluto. And so this could be, again, breakups, and or renegotiations of finances and or relationships. Like maybe it's just time to have that conversation with that friend who just doesn't get where you are, but maybe you need to just say, you know, and all of this, like this could just be like people just being like, hey, I appreciate your friendship, or I appreciate this job, but it's just not working for me. And we really either need to like change it, do it a different way. You know, like I have a friend who, like every time she contacts me, is just victim this and victim that. And I've kind of outgrown that to the point where I really don't want to hear other people in that victim state either, unless I know that they're doing something about it. Like I have a line. And so I kind of do everything I can to avoid her at this point, because I'm like so tired of like the victim. Like I get the victim if you're working with a professional and you're trying to overcome the victim. Okay. But if you're just like stuck in it and expect me to be stuck with you, nope. No. Okay. Okay. The chart. Please tell me we have the right chart and everything got updated as I needed it to be. Okay. It did, because my highlights are here. Okay. So new moon is at 20 Capricorn. The nodes, South node, Libra, North node, Aries, are at 20 degrees respectively. Okay, so this new moon is squaring the nodes. Concurrently, we have Venus making a trine, a fire trine between 15 Sag and 15 Aries. So Sag and Aries, or Sagittarius and Aries, are both fire signs. And so at 15 degrees, we have Venus trining Chiron. In the earth signs, we have Mars at 5 degrees of Capricorn, trining Jupiter at 5 degrees of Taurus. So we have an earth trine between Mars and Jupiter. Trines are typically very supportive energies, not necessarily, but typically. However, we have this square with the new moon. Squares are typically like, you gotta kind of learn a lesson, get through it kind of deal. And so what I'm feeling is that your wounds are kind of coming up and out, particularly from the, you know, when the moon was moving through Scorpio and we had the sun square Chiron. That would have been the weekend before this new moon. So your wounds may be surfacing, and then Venus comes along with her love, with her passion, her creativity. And this is kind of how we transmute our wounds, right? We acknowledge that they exist, but we then use them to be creative and create something from them, right? So maybe it's writing a book that, you know, is a guidebook to support others who may be in a similar situation, or something like that. So that's just an example, but it's really this moment of like taking a look at your dependency, your codependency versus your independence and interdependence, because this is how I look at these nodes. The South node in Libra is all about codependency and dependency, right? So codependency is you're with a partner and you codepend, right? You depend on each other. Dependent is like, you know, you think about dependent, you think of taxes, but it's someone who is dependent on you, or are you dependent on other people? On the Aries North Node side of things, we have independence and interdependence. So independence is and this could be like ultra independence or hyper independence, is the person who feels like they have to do 100% of everything in their life by themselves all the time. No questions asked. And then there's interdependence, which is, the folks who are independent yet need other people's role in their world in order to be independent on their own. So story time. So I used to be a personal assistant for a woman in my neighborhood who had rheumatoid arthritis, and she had limited range of motion on most all of her joints. And so she had me as a personal assistant. She had her cleaning lady. She had, other support people in her life. Now she lived alone independently, but the reason she was able to do that is because we all had our things that we did. And she had strict rules as to how she wanted things done, right? If it was like the mouthwash, she didn't want the cap tightened too tight. If it was, whatever it was, she wanted the caps loosened so that when she went to get it herself, she could take the cap off on her own, right? Things could only be stored at certain shelf levels and whatnot, and things like that. So my point is that's interdependence. She was able to live and function on her own, but she needed the support of all of her support staff and people and assistants to make that happen. Okay. If she was codependent, she would probably have someone living with her, right? But I don't think that would have been her style, to be honest with you. But so do you see how that works? How we can all, be different. But I believe with the North Node in Aries that we are all striving for independence and interdependence as opposed to being codependent or dependent. Okay, so I talked about the square. I know I talked about this being a Saturn ruled new moon. So we're talking about restriction, responsibility, and time because Saturn is Chronos in Greek mythology. So I just thought I would throw that little fun fact in for you. Okay, nodes at 20, therefore squaring the Venus at 15 trine Chiron at 15 Aries, which is the fire trine, and then Mars in Capricorn trining Jupiter at 0 Taurus, which is an earth trine. So it's kind of like it's also a lot of like buckle down energy, right? It's almost like you've got to find the people, acknowledge that you need people to help you, because we all do. We're not meant to do this life on our own. And it's buckle down and get shit done, right? When get Mars in Capricorn. So, okay. So that's the chart. The lunation cycle we are in right now, of course, we've got this new moon on the 11th. Then we will have the first quarter square moon in Aries on the 17th. Then we will have the full moon in Leo on the 25th. Again, that's that week that all those that the Sun Pluto conjunction happens, and 2 days after this full moon, Uranus goes direct, and Uranus is an Aquarian situation. I thought I brought water over here and I could regret that. Okay, on the 2nd, February 2nd is the third quarter square moon in Scorpio. That will be right before Mercury, 3 days before Mercury conjuncts Pluto at 0 Aquarius. On the 6th, we have the balsamic moon in Capricorn. Balsamic moon, Capricorn, yep. Okay. So that's the darkening moon phase ahead of the new moon in Aquarius on February 9th. And then on the 16th, we have the first quarter square moon in Taurus. We may be thankful that the moon is in Taurus on the 16th. That'll be right after that Mars conjunct Pluto situation on the 13th, and right before Venus conjuncts Pluto on the 17th. And then on the 24th, we have the full moon in Virgo. I think I went this far because I wanted to say something about this full moon in Virgo. So Virgo is affects our digestive system. It's analytical, it's detail oriented. And so I feel like ahead of this full moon in Virgo on the 24th, this is way far out, like a month and a half out, but I feel like there could be a lot of upset digestion, and a lot of upset, which upset digestion also affects the brain. And so I just feel like by the 24th of February, people could be on super overwhelmed, holy shit, but your body's gonna react and respond to that. And so that's why I feel like this Virgo full moon was worth mentioning about, because kind of like be prepared, your body is probably gonna go through some crazy, if not illness, if not like just health concerns and things like that. So just kind of be aware of that as we move through this lunation cycle. Okay, so of course, I took out the follow me on social media. I hope I took it out. Nope, I didn't. Uh, I'm not really active on social media right now. I'm done with my 365 days of lives on Instagram. So not very active, because I'm doing a lot of other projects behind the scenes and doing a lot of stuff, including updating my website. And I start my writing class to write the book, my second book soon. And so you can book with me, either through the Calendly link below or through sarahweigel.com. But you can get your basic personal astrology write-up, or the quarterly astrology write-up. Now, the quarterly one is only going to be open until January 15th. It will reopen in mid-March, for Q2. You can listen to my guest appearance on the Hearts Unleashed podcast with Abigail Gazda, where I talked about breaking up with your victimhood. I'm also available for in-person and virtual speaking events. If your group would like to hear me talk, that would be amazing. Of course, in-person does depend on location and whatnot, but virtual is always an option. Join the Awakening Spirit Collective, where I I always hate when I have to say that. Okay, where I provide their zodiacal season overviews. So of course, the Aquarius season coming up, I will be doing a video for the Awakening Spirit Collective. There are all kinds of monthly things going on there, and a lot of spiritual support and guidance on there. And of course, thank you so much for tuning into my videos. I really appreciate you being here, liking, commenting, sharing, all of the things. I really appreciate that. So before I jump into the sun and rising signs, I'm going to give my cards a shuffle. I'm going to try and do some maneuvering on my screen and see if I can get technology to do magical technology things. I'm an Aquarius. You'd think that I'd be good at this. And sometimes I just kind of get behind on tech, and whatnot. So, but what I want to be able to do is to do a card pull for each of your sun and rising signs, kind of give you a little bit extra guidance through it all. I hope you're excited about all of this. I think it's like really overwhelming because a lot of people are really into their routine life. But for somebody like me, I'm like here for the change. I've been been here for it my entire life. I feel like I've waited for this moment in time. I remember when I first started learning about Pluto and Aquarius, I was just like, this is why I'm here. This is why I learned astrology now. Because I was meant to be here for this. So what I want to try to do, I don't think I can from here. I don't really want to have to re-record this either. So I'm kind of hoping, okay. Okay, we're gonna try this. So excuse me for mucking up my video. Okay, do I have to click back over? Okay, there we are at Aries. Okay, so let's do this. Um, oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, gonna do the best I can. Thanks for your patience. Okay, Aries. Of course, this is in your 10th house of career, long-term goals, public achievements, all of those sorts of things. So it's kind of go time for Aries right now. It's like, the one thing that you've been waiting to get after and go after. Like you may feel some restriction around it, but honestly, like keep staying the course, to see how, things move forward. But you are definitely getting a push with this, Capricorn new moon to really move your excuse me, move yourself forward, in the area of career, and whatnot. Also, you have the North Node in your sign. So if you do have Aries, 20-degree Aries placements, or even 15, because that's where Chiron's camping out right now. You may want to, you may be feeling feisty, you may be feeling like no more bullshit type of energy. And so for Aries, and I'm pulling from the Believe in Your Own Magic deck, we got the morning. Ooh, yeah. Mm. And it says, the world awaits you. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Aries, time to step into this new role for yourself, and show it to all of us. The world awaits you, Aries. Okay. So let's move on to Taurus. This is your horoscope forecast for the new moon in Capricorn. This is for Taurus, sun and rising. Okay, Taurus, this is in your 9th house. So 9th house is broadening your horizons, it's belief systems, philosophical, philosophical systems, philosophies, long distance travel. You could honestly just like change your belief systems and therefore want to long distance relocate, and or maybe you just want to long distance travel, or something to discover a new belief system, just to see like how, you're going to maybe try on some new belief systems just to see where it goes. Or maybe you're just going to leave, move because you're done with whatever is boring you to tears and wherever you are. But obviously you're going to, something is coming up for you with your beliefs, with philosophies, and whatnot. Something like debunking all of that for you. And we have for you, this is stars, and it says, you can manifest your every wish. Yeah, wish upon a star. I feel like there's some Tauruses that have been holding back, and maybe they're confused, maybe they're going through just a personal journey that's been taking up a lot of their space, headspace. But I feel like that, whatever you desire is available for you, right? This is 9th house for you. That's Jupiterian, and Jupiter is in your sign right now. And so I feel like, it's maybe this is your time, like to step on up. Jupiter's direct. You've been through, like I said, you've been through like transformative work. You've been through a lot of maybe personal self-discovery type work. And so I feel like this is literally like, you know, the universe is trying to show you, like, you can have whatever you desire to have, whatever you wish for. So I got for Taurus. Gemini, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the Capricorn new moon on January 11th, 2024. It's for Gemini. Okay, Gemini, this is happening in your 8th house, which is financial and intimate mergings. So something big is happening for you with your spouse, your partner, perhaps a family, like taxes or something related to taxes, something related to an inheritance. This could also be transformation. And we know Gemini has been through a lot of transformation over the last few years, as have we all. But I feel like this for you is a lot to do with just making adjustments or seeing some clarity in whatever your mergings are, before you kind of move forward on a new venture or a new journey. So let's see what we got for Gemini for believe in your own magic. We have nostalgia. Focus on the here and now. Yeah. Gemini is known to be pretty scatterbrained, pretty all over the place. And so it's a matter of like being present, really seeing what's going on in the present, of your life, in your world, in your marriage, in, you know, in a intimate situation. So yeah, I really like that for Gemini is be present, because I know it's hard when you're scatterbrained, it's hard to be present, like to be aware of like what's going on in this moment. So that's what I got for Gemini. All right, Cancer, this is your forecast for the Capricorn new moon on January 11th, 2024. This is for Cancer, sun and rising. Cancers, this is in your 7th house, of course, because it's your opposing sign. So this may actually be opposing you. And if you have anything at 20 degrees of Cancer, this would create then a cardinal cross, with the moon squaring the nodes. And so, you know, you may be feeling some effects from some things that came up, maybe even like last July, but also just some relationships that you're seeing have to go a different direction or they're no longer going to work. You could be setting up some hardcore boundaries with people just so that you can create balance for yourself, and whatnot. You know, I think we had the new moon in Sag in December, and you may have started a new health regime, and you may have really noticed like the health issues, or health concerns. And so you may be like setting boundaries with people as a result of what you learned from mid-December. So yeah, so some new boundaries for some Cancers out there. And for y'all, we got this is the villain. You can always rewrite the story. Yeah. Okay. So why I'm laughing is because don't be the villain, don't be the asshole when you're setting boundaries with people. I mean, maybe you have to be because some people are so used to you being you and being so inviting and welcoming and whatever, but I think you're actually very vicious because but you get to rewrite the story. You get to choose who's in your life. You get to choose how the story goes. Like I said, if you learned a lot from that Sagittarius new moon, then you already know like you've got to change the story and, you know, all of that. So, but maybe try not to be the antagonist, but just be like, I don't know, but maybe you do need to be the antagonist. Maybe you need to be the villain, like I said, to get somebody to get away from you. Some people won't go quietly. So that's what I got for Cancer. All right, Leo, this is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. And this is for Leo, sun, and rising. All right, Leos, This is happening in your sixth house of daily routines and health habits and whatnot. So, you know, you may have like started a new project, ended an old project, and now you're kind of relearning the routine. Maybe some health issues have come up and they won't be ignored anymore, and you really have to face them, be with them. And therefore you have to adjust your work routine, your daily routine, in order to maintain or improve your health situation. For you, Leo, we have, and this is the Believe in Your Own Magic deck, we have the Tree. Let them go. Whatever you are holding on to, whatever old memories of people, places, things, time to let them go. I would say, like, think of the tree of life kind of situation. And so not everybody is meant to be in our world our entire lives, and some of them only have a season with us. And so, or just a certain stretch of time, and we learn what we need to learn from them, and they learn what they need to learn from us. And so that's, you know, and then the summer turns to fall and the leaves fall and all of those things. So that's what I got for Leo, sun and rising. All right, Virgo, this is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn, January 11th, 2024. This is for Virgo, sun and rising. All right, in your fifth house. Okay, so this is what I'm feeling for Virgo. I feel like a lot of Virgos don't like to make a mess. They don't like to get messy, therefore they kind of avoid creativity, because oftentimes being creative and being playful creates a mess. And Virgos are kind of anti-mess, right? Because you're kind of a perfectionist, you're kind of a neat freak or whatever. But I think it's kind of this moment of like allowing the mess, in fact, inviting the mess, being with the mess to practice your creativity. You can always clean it up later, but I feel like this is an opportunity for Virgos to get messy, get creative. I feel like you've been holding yourself back because you're afraid of flying or effing up the creativity. If that's the case, I invite you to watch all of my videos for the last couple of days, because I've been trying some new stuff and it's looking pretty icky in my opinion. I'm sure it looks great, but for me, I'm kind of self-critical. And maybe you are too. And maybe you're like, I don't want to do that. It's going to make me look this way or that way. And you know what? It's okay. Or maybe you want to try a new craft or a new hobby, but you're afraid to, because you're afraid of making a mess with like the physical mess, right? The physical mess of paint or of clay, or the physical mess of sand if it's sand art, or getting marker all over yourself if it's marker art or pen art or something like that. So my point is that being an artist is messy, being creative is messy, but the only way to learn the craft, whatever the craft is to practice it and get messy. So maybe take this time to really invite in and welcome the mess just for a minute while you get your bearings around the new thing, the new creation. For Virgos, you have wings. Ooh, I love this. Let's see if I can read the print on it. You never needed those strings to fly. You never needed those wings to fly. No, you don't need wings to fly, Virgo. Virgo, listen. I love Virgos because Virgos want to like detail orient everything. But of course, my little Aquarius Scorpio ass is not as detail oriented as some Virgos are. But Virgos, you got something beautiful, brilliant within you. And you don't need like perfection in order for us to see it, or in order for you to share it with us. There's something brilliant about a Virgo, right? I'm hoping that we see some brilliance come out of some Virgos Maybe they play with some creativity in 2024 using this Capricorn new moon as a catapult to show us your brilliance. Show us your brilliance, Virgo. All right. I love Virgo. I have some great Virgo friends in my life. Libra, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. This is for Libra. Okay, Libra, this is in your fourth house, focusing on home and emotional well-being and whatnot. And I'm going to say that I feel like Libras need to focus on their emotions, because I feel like they could get lost in the task of like trying to get all of the things done and, you know, making people happy, but they forget their own emotional well-being. And so, but the thing is that things will process at a much like fluid rate when you take time to be with your emotions, when you take time to allow your emotions to exist, to process, to move through them. So if this means you have to like schedule time to be emotional, then it means you have to schedule time to be emotional. But hopefully you can find time to do that, because I feel like you're going through a lot of crazy shit, and taking that time to just air out your emotions will be helpful in the process of all of the things around your home, around your mom or maternal things, or you being a mom yourself and you don't feel like you can be emotional. Like, I feel like this new moon is like kind of that invitation to process the emotions so that other things can process as well. So for Libra, we have shark, and this is swim away swim away from the situation. That feels like counterintuitive to what I just said. Swim away from the situation. Maybe something's triggering your emotions in an unnecessary way. Because I feel like this is like, you know, South Node with that Venus trine Chiron situation. So maybe something's come up that's triggering your wounding. Sorry. I didn't have the card. I had the glare on the card. Maybe something's coming up that's triggering the wounding that doesn't necessarily need to be triggered right now. Swim away from the situation. Maybe you need to move. Maybe you need to relocate because like shit's just not working out where you're living at right now, and you need to acknowledge that it's time to move on. Instead of trying to make it work, maybe it's time to move on. So I got for Libra. Scorpio, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. This is for Scorpio, sun and rising. All right, Scorpio, this is happening in your third house, which is all about communication and mindset. And I feel like Scorpio's got something to say and they don't know how to say it, but they're finding their words. And Mars is moving, and with Mars now in Capricorn, in this third house, I feel like Scorpios are going to start saying the shit that's on their mind. And whether you like it or not, or you think it's morbid or not, they're not going to care. But I think like this also points to that whole idea of we're all very individualized people when it comes to, you know, a Pluto and Aquarius, right? Is like, you know, we need people out there like Scorpios with their morbid sense of humor or their dark sense of humor, or, you know, whatever that looks like. But I feel like Scorpios have got something to say. And when they actually have the opportunity to say it to people who can just see that they just need to like get that shit off their mind and off their chest, you're going to see some much more content Scorpios because they finally found the people that can actually relate to their level of darkness, their level of morbidness, whatever. Yeah. And for Scorpios, we have oh my goodness, you're kidding, right? This says bitch fear, not kidding. It says, stand up for yourself. I can't make this shit up, y'all. Scorpio, it's okay that you are dark AF. It is really okay. We actually need people to be dark because so many people are so touchy and easily offended that we actually need people to balance that shit out. And that would be the darkness that is Scorpio, in my opinion. But it's also like that moment of like, if we're talking about the Venus trine Chiron, we're talking about the node, the new moon squaring the nodes. And then Mars and Capricorn, like there's something here about like you may have some of the deepest wounds, and your way of transmuting them or shifting them or creating a new around them is to like be your best advocate, be your best like, by showing people just how stupid something is, right? Let me show you how stupid this doesn't work for 90% of humanity, right? Like, I feel like that could be it too, right? Is like being your best advocate or being the advocate that no one else will be, right? This has been me lately, is me being the advocate that no one else has been for where I live, is, showing people how dumb something is and that it doesn't work for people. So anyway, that's what I feel like for Scorpio is like there's something that needs to be said that everyone else is so afraid to say, that Scorpio's got the gumption, the guts, the balls, the boobs to say it. So speak up, Scorpios. Okay, that's what I got. Sagittarius, Sun and Rising. This is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. This is for Sagittarius, Sun and Rising. Okay, Sag, this is in your second house. This is all about your self-worth. Could be related to finances and whatnot. But I really feel like there's something coming up for you about your self-worth, and you've accumulated a lot of stability around your self-worth, and there could be like a cleansing of wounds here for Sagittarius, where like they've acknowledged the wounds, but now they like are ready to move on. But like this could be just the push that a Sag needs with Mars in that second house. Because Mars is going to bring it to Capricorn. So I feel like there's a new version of Sagittarius is stepping up and out, and they're getting these giant pushes from all of the personal planets to really like stand up and show, what do I want to say here? Maybe I wrote it. I usually just kind of the next level version of yourself. Like there's this new version of yourself that's like ready to come out, and you're finally getting into that place where you can step up and out and be in that new space with that new version of you. I'm gonna see Sagittarius like light some shit up. You got the spaceship. Don't be afraid to sing. Yeah, like not literally sing, but don't be afraid to like be yourself. Rise up, right? Don't be afraid of that. Okay. That's pretty much what I got for Sagittarius. Like Sagittarius are about to amplify Jupiter some shit up. All right, Capricorn. This is your forecast for the Capricorn new moon on January 11th, 2024. This is for Capricorn, Sun, and Rising. And of course, this is happening in your first house, which is all about your public appearance, how you show up to the world. Capricorns, you are almost done. You're almost done with Pluto and Capricorn very soon. But unfortunately, there will be a little bit extra later this year, but the bulk of it will be done on January 20th. But this is a new moon in your first house, in your sign. And so it's kind of like this moment of like, what are you made of? Who are you now? You get to finally show us who you have become after 15 years of transformation. So I love this because I can't wait to see what some Capricorns have been doing behind the curtain that we now all get to share in this new version of them. And Capricorn got the dragons, which is slay them all, right? Like time to slay, Capricorns. You got Mars in there. You're gonna have Venus and Mercury in there. So it's time to just go to battle, play the dragons, tell the dark ones to go on. Yeah, I love that for Capricorn. I really think that, Capricorns, if you made it to the other side of Pluto and Capricorn without losing your mind, I I think seeing them go through the next few years is going to be really interesting. And it can start with this Capricorn new moon. So that's what I got for Capricorn. All right, Aquarius. This is your forecast for the new moon in Capricorn on January 11th, 2024. This is for Aquarius, Sun, and Rising. I feel like for Aquarius, this is going to be in your 12th house, which is karmic endings and spirituality. This is the calm before the storm, right? Because by the time we come back for the Aquarius new moon, we will already have how many planets in Aquarius, but notably Pluto in Aquarius. And so I feel like whatever is meant to end right now for you, whether it's like a spiritual thing or a physical relationship or a job or whatever, and you're feeling like, okay, I have to be fucking done with that because I really need to move into this new thing and be ready for it. Like this is like the preparatory time where you're like making the decisions to choose your next adventure and take it on with some big energy. So, and for Aquarius, we have the lioness. Eek, she protecting her territory. Let's see. It says you've earned all of your stripes. Yeah. You've earned this. You've earned your role, right? You've earned it. You're ready for it. You've gotta, if you've paid attention to all the things that have needed to end in your life, then you're opening up the opportunity for the new things to come in. So you've earned your stripes. You've earned, what's like the medical, there's like a medical thing where they look zebras. Yeah. They look for zebras, right? They look for something that they can't find. And I feel like Aquarians, if you've been doing some work, then you've got like that inner weirdo hide in there, and you've earned your stripes. You've earned the opportunity to show off the goddamn weirdo. Be weird. All right, Pisces, this is your forecast for the Capricorn new moon on January 11th, 2024. This is for Pisces, Sun, and Rising. All right, Pisces, you got something coming up in your 11th house, which is groups, communities, technology. You may be running into some restrictions, some struggles with some groups, some communities, maybe a new technology that you've tried. You may be running into some struggles. So it's kind of like one of those, like, what are the opportunities or what's the strategy for shifting your relationship with the community that you're currently involved in. Maybe even it's like moving to a new community or shifting how you participate in the community or with the technology. Like maybe it's a new technology and you're like, this isn't working. So maybe you just need to find a different resource, reevaluate how all of this comes together for you. And so from Believe in Your Own Magic, we got the Castle for Pisces. It's time for healing, not war. Yeah. I feel like Pisces is resisting something, which makes sense because you do have Saturn camping out in your first house if you're a Pisces rising. You got Saturn there. So I think it's important to remember that, there's healing, right? You don't have to fight hard for the things. You can heal it, you can make it better, all of that kind of thing. So just like that for Pisces. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. I feel like I was getting a little flaky there at the end. Let's see if I can. Oh, come on. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Jeez. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm trying to learn some new ways and methods of doing these videos and stuff like that. I would actually love it if somebody out there knows of a better screen sharing program than Zoom. And the only reason that I use Zoom, I do have OBS on my laptop, but I can't use it because I don't have an external camera. So I only have my internal camera. So I've been using Zoom, but I actually want to make changes to my videos that I don't know if I can do with Zoom. I think it's just too clunky to do. So thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate you. Please like, share, comment, all of the things. I very much love how people have been commenting and engaging. That definitely helps the algorithm, helps me. It makes me feel good. You know, it just does. So I appreciate you being out there and being willing to listen to me, as I'm an Aquarius with Scorpio. So that means Pluto is coming after me. And I just finished with Saturn and the South Node. It's never ending. Transformation is never ending. Astrology is never ending. It's all here to help us, to guide us, and all of the things. And a lot of it for me is just letting go of, being a perfectionist and and I don't really have, well, I have a North Node Virgo. But it's just letting go of, it has to look perfect. Because if not, somebody is going to come criticize my content. And to be honest with you, I care and I want to improve it. I just don't always have the tools and the resources to improve it the way I envision it being. Like, I have a grandiose vision of how it's all going to look glamorous and have the perfect backdrop and have the perfect screen share thingy, and the keynotes are going to have perfect alignment to look perfect on it. Just never. Let me just say that the vision in my brain and the vision in my eyes are sure as the hell not equal. Thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate you. You know what? Use this energy. Use this energy to try some new shit, muck shit up. It's okay. That's how we learn. And honestly, I would love to see more people trying to look not so perfect, but trying to learn something, than to see people trying to make it look perfect, but they're out of integrity in their spiritual practices. I'll leave it at that because that's how it is right now. But anyway, so thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you on the next video. Of course, check out all the links below for all of the fun things. And always check out the Moon Astrology Tarot Daily Horoscope videos I post here every time the moon changes signs. So I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.